What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the broader markets. I'm going to break down other pieces of news involving NIO, what's happening in the market going into tomorrow as we have big data coming out, and how the charts are looking in my personal opinion. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Mumu link that's down below, or sign up with my QR code that's right over here. If you sign up for Mumu and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free Nvda stock. If you deposit $2,000, you're going to get $50 worth. Deposit $10,000 to get $300 worth, and deposit $50,000 to get $1,000 of free Nvidia stock. You'll also qualify for an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, and the offer ends very soon, so check out my links down below. Anyways, as far as NIO is going, we're just range bound right here. So basically, as we dip down towards this 4.5 area, we like to bounce. As we hit 5, we like to reject. And we're just going back and forth for now. So we're going to see if NIO tries to go a bit higher towards this 4.7 area. We're going to see if it tries to push for this upper gap at 4.9. Or if we get a rejection right back down. It all depends on some data coming out for tomorrow. So we're still in the middle. But I still think this does have some upside potential to push for 4.7 as the market's holding up quite well. Goldman Sachs remains neutral on NIO, and the price-price ratio is still kind of flat right now, not really moving too much. We're going to see if this climbs or not. When it comes to seasonality, keep in mind that on Wednesdays we tend to be green about 55% of the time, so that's a good statistic. Some good news about NIO is that NIO's sub-brand Onvo and Firefly, they're both doing very, very well to drive in growth. The Onvo L90 is exceeding expectations with high amounts of sales. And overall, the orders are going up like crazy, which is why the deliveries times are just starting to slow down. So it's taking them longer to make these deliveries because there's a huge amount of orders so far. We could be looking for over 10,000 orders very, very shortly. On top of this, Maguire is upgrading NIO from a neutral to an outperform rating, and they're saying it's going to run to $5.50, which is still a substantial run compared to where we are. That's more than 10%, even more than that. It's like almost 20% compared to where we are right now. So that's some great news. And then on top of this, their ET5 is still getting lots of attention, being a good competitor with other European brands. So that's some good news that's coming out for NIO. But for tomorrow, keep in mind, we do have more data coming out. Tomorrow, we have the PPI data report and core PPI month over month. We're expecting an increase by 0.1 to 0.2%. For all items PPI, we're also expecting an increase. When it comes to core PPI year over year, we're expecting an increase to 2.7 to 2.9%. And all items, we're expecting an increase to about 2.5%. So we're going to see what this leads to. Keep in mind, CPI has been going up, and core CPI is the main thing, whereas all items has been flat. But PPI tends to be a leading indicator for CPI. Right now, Goldman Sachs is saying that there's going to likely be more inflation coming. This is just the beginning. And President Trump is not happy about that. He is arguing that, we're doing completely fine and the economy is strong and that things are going to be fine for us. So he has a different perspective. Scott Bessent, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, started to say that he wants to see 50 basis points worth of cuts. He wants to see more cuts by the Fed. And we have President Trump saying the same thing. Well, now there's about a 100% chance the Fed's going to cut during the next FOMC meeting, a 94.3% chance we get a 25 basis point cut, and a 5.7% chance we see 50 basis points. So we'll see what the bonds market prices in, depending on the data that's coming out. This is what the earnings calendar looks like, very minor data. So what do we see for the charts? Right now, we're just trading sideways, back and forth price action. We're going to see if we bounce and push for 4.7. If that breaks, we could be going higher to fill this gap up here. So far, there is some upside potential for 4.7 plus on NIO. On top of this, when it comes to SPY, we're trying to push higher, but this depends on PPI. If we hold above 642, we're looking for a bounce for like new all-time highs. But if we don't hold 642, we could be dipping back down to 640, and we'll see if we bounce off that. We're going to see if we get some kind of rejection bounce or not. Depending on PPI, we do expect a hot number, so we'll see if the market comes down a bit before it tries to bounce. Same thing with the QQQ. We're going to be testing 580 to see if it holds. If it doesn't hold, we could be dipping down towards 578, and we'll see buyers defend to push us higher. On the IWM, we look more bullish. We're going to see if we could hold 230. If this holds, we could try to bounce. If not, we could be dipping back down towards 227. So be very careful and watch to see what kind of reaction we get off 230. That's going to be very key for how we end up moving. For ES, we're making higher lows right here. We're going to see if we come back down towards 64.41. We'll see if we bounce off this or not. It might dip a little bit depending on PPI, but overall the trend remains more bullish. For the NQ charts, This might dip to the previous all-time high around 23,830. Might see a small dip. Then we'll see if we bounce off this double support. That's going to be key for us. Bitcoin might also retest 121,000. We'll see if we bounce. Tesla could be dipping back down to about 335. We need to hold above 340, and we're actually struggling to hold so far. This may consolidate and dip a little bit if we can't get back above 340, so it's not looking as great. Nvidia is very choppy. Is it going to come down to 179 or bounce? We'll see about that. Apple is still bullish. We need to hold above 230 to push for 235. We're going to see if that holds. AMD is holding it very well. We have resistance at 185 right here. We need to hold this. If it doesn't hold this, we could return towards like 180 and we'll see if we bounce. But overall, we did get a push like we were talking about yesterday. Coinbase is favoring 333, and we're going to see if that breaks. That's where the 50 EMA is. Amazon is favoring 227. We'll see if that breaks or not. Meta could be dipping towards 775. We'll see if buyers defend. So watch 775 and what kind of reaction we get. Google might be dipping towards 201 to 200. We'll see if buyers defend. And then, Microsoft has the same thing. We have a range, and we could be retesting 525. So it might retest 522 to 525, and we'll see if we reject. The VIX is flat right now. Are we about to bounce near 4.5, or are we about to get a big rejection? The market's very indecisive. We are at some tough resistance for SPY, so we're going to see if it comes down a bit after PPI before it tries to bounce higher. We'll see just to be safe if that happens or not, but the chart remains bullish nonetheless. NIO is trying to bounce here. We need to hold above 4.5. So long as we do, we're looking for 4.7 plus. Eventually 4.8. That's going to be where this target is right here, where this gap resistance happens to be. So we're range bound right now, but there is still some upside potential for 4.7 to 4.8, and I could see a temporary bounce on NIO stock. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. I know NIO is kind of boring, guys. We've been just trading sideways for many, many weeks, going back and forth between 4.5 and 5.1, back and forth for quite a while, but eventually there's going to be a lot of big moves coming. What I like about NIO is that they're setting themselves up for not only profitability, but big sales and big growth in the next upcoming quarters. And I think that there's going to be a lot of upside in the share price thanks to that. So I still remain very bullish going into the end of this year, heading into next year. It's not just me speculating or making this up. This is because of their sub brands. We have the Onvo L90. We also have their ET5, which is doing well in terms of sales. And then they're also entering different markets and expanding around the world. I think the battery swapping idea is genius, and I think that they're going to continue to grow. Once we get to profitability, there's going to be a lot more attention for it, so that's going to take some time. Once we get there, NIO is saying it could happen during the fourth quarter of this year. Keep in mind, EVs do take a long time to get profitable, so it's no surprise it's taking NIO some time. But I do believe in them, and I think there's going to be a lot of upside coming, at least for the long term. So with that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Please have an awesome rest of your guys' days. I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Have a good one, and peace out.